Thank you for joining me on another exciting episode of the Way Up Podcast with your host, Geoff Knoll. In this week's episode, I have the pleasure of interviewing entrepreneur Greg Birch. Greg is a true warrior at heart, having served our country as an Army officer in Iraq and Afghanistan. After completing his service, he used his natural leadership abilities to excel in the insurance industry, setting sales records and coaching others to achieve greatness. It was his personal struggle with anxiety and depression that led him on the journey of self-discovery and the creation of progressive discipline technique. Today, as the founder of Delta Fit, Greg is dedicated to helping individuals transform their physical, mental, and spiritual health to become the best version of themselves. The Way Up Podcast is sponsored by me. I'm a real estate broker in the state of Missouri, and I believe that this message is worth my investment. Hang with us till the end. I know you won't be disappointed. Greg, I'm so glad to have you on the show. Thanks for joining me. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you're doing, man.
Yeah, definitely. So Geoff, I appreciate you having me on the podcast first and foremost. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be a guest on anyone's show. So, I'm a country boy from Tennessee. This is probably the most unicorn thing you'll ever hear somebody say. I'm half Puerto Rican. I'm 6'7", and I'm a country boy from Tennessee. What? Yeah. So, both my parents are Vietnam vets, and they retired out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Well, my dad did, because he stayed in. My mom got out after a few years because she just got the GI Bill and went to school. And I grew up in a military family. I'm the youngest of six, and I knew at a young age I wanted to be in the military. And I didn't realize it until I became an adult, but kind of realized the power of law of attraction and manifestation, because I used to have this very vivid vision of me being a captain in the military and getting an award. And I had this like scene that would play out in my head over and over again. I would play music. I would play We Are the Champions on my mom's old record player. And I would walk around the living room with this scene in my head, because I wanted to be a captain so bad. Because my dad, he would talk about this commander that he had that was a captain in Vietnam, and he talked about him with such reverence. I remember thinking, like, man, if my dad really likes him, like the way he talked about him, I want to be something like that. And I was about 10 years old, when I started doing that. And I just had this like, man, it was clear as day. So I could almost feel the breeze in my skin in the parade field, right? And lo and behold, I became a captain, and I got many awards.
When you became a captain, did you feel like, fuck yeah, I made it?
Yeah, I did. I did feel like that. And I didn't realize it till afterwards. I didn't realize it till I started getting into personal development, the power of manifestation and law of attraction. And I was like, man, I've been doing this since I was a kid. Like, and I've always had, if I really wanted something, I would intensely think about it, and it would, be an obsession. So the way I would imagine it all the time.
Was that something that your dad or somebody in your life mentored to you, like taught you to do that?
No.
Really?
No, not at all. Never talked about it. They never mentioned doing it. They weren't even like, hey, you should really think about your dreams and like imagine and do those. Nothing like that.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was, I guess it's just kind of luck. And I didn't realize though what it was until, like I said, till I got an adult. But I got an ROTC scholarship literally after I graduated. I applied for my scholarship late because I was a terrible student in high school. I think I graduated with a 2.6 GPA. Like, I was terrible in high school. And I wasn't that I was stupid.
Right.
I was actually really smart. I just didn't apply myself. I applied myself to the classes I liked, which was like English. I was always really good at English. I was great at art. I was like a phenomenal art student. I used to compete in art across the nation. I wanted to be a comic book artist. And that was my dream, was to be a comic book artist. And so, art, English, but the sciences and math, not my jam. So I always barely passed. I would get like C's and D's. I would barely pass. And I did my ACT the last possible time I could do it before I had to graduate. Like I had to do it. And I waited to the last moment and I didn't study. And I got the minimum score that was required in order to be eligible for an ROTC scholarship. And when I got the score, I think I got the scoring came back. This is back in, man, it's back in 2002 when I graduated. So when the scoring came back, it was like literally like a week before I graduated. And so I got the score and it hit me. I was like, I can actually compete for an ROTC scholarship. And I put in the paperwork right before I graduated, and I didn't even get told that I was awarded the scholarship until my freshman year of college started. And then I was like, hey, by the way, you did get the scholarship. And so then they ended up paying, I got a full ride. And it was just kind of serendipitous at that point that I was going on the path to becoming an officer, which is exactly what I set out to do. So I spent, 11 years in the military. Had some great experiences, deployed twice, once to Iraq, once to Afghanistan. I wouldn't trade it for the world. The experiences, the leadership opportunities, the training, the connections I made with people are some of the strongest connections I've made with anybody ever in my life. And I'm deeply grateful and humbled by having the opportunity to serve our country. And so when I got out, I ended up saying, you know what, now's my time. And I started to become an entrepreneur. I worked on insurance. It was just kind of fell in my lap, and I had no passion for insurance, but I had passion for wanting to like test myself and make a lot of money, to be honest, to start off just making a lot of money and owning my own business, being my own boss. And so I was very drawn towards that because I had spent the first 11 years after college of answering to Uncle Sam and following everything that they told me to do. And now it's like, well, I don't want to have to ask a grown man to take, a trip to go see my kids. Cause at the time I'm divorced and my kids live in another state. I'm like, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to, if I want to go to the beach for a weekend, I don't want to have to ask permission. Right. Like, so I was like, I'm going to be my own boss. And, I haven't looked back since. I've been in that arena ever since 2017 when I got in the military, and it's been the most challenging, most satisfying, the most anxiety ridden.
It's a roller coaster, isn't it?
It is a fucking roller coaster, bro. I don't know if I can curse on here, but yeah,
it's got a lot of ups and downs. The highest highs and some scary moments of lows, for real.
Years of being in insurance, bro. I woke up with my butthole puckered every single morning. Like every day. Like, how am I going to make money today? Like, can I make my bills? And it was bad. It was really stressful. So
you've touched a little bit on the fact that you've been in the insurance business. You have a financial company. Is that also the insurance business? Is Delta Financial?
Delta Financial, yeah.
Is the insurance. Okay. And then you also have a podcast called Be the Difference.
I do.
Which I've been listening through some of these episodes, and I totally dig the podcast, but I was listening to you talk about the St. Jude 100 push-ups a day to raise money for St. Jude. And I've seen this ad so many times.
Yeah.
Different months. I feel like they do it maybe every month. And I see
it's like every month now. Yeah.
I see it all the time, but many times I've looked at that and thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I might do it for a day, but I don't know. I think I've done 100 push-ups one time in it, like a day. So I never stuck with it. I never had I never stayed with it. I didn't have anybody to hold me accountable. I didn't have anybody there just pushing me, but listening to you talk, and you said, in that first, just talk about that. You're getting into that.
Yeah. So when I saw the ad, it was in October of last year, October of 22. And I saw the ad, and it was starting in November. And it hit me. I was like, you know what? I'm always trying to get my team to like be more engaged and active physically, because I believe that physical fitness, when it comes to sales, right? And this is my Delta Financial team, all the agents that I have across the nation. It's really hard to manage, teach, coach, inspire, and keep them on track when we're all remote. So we're all like communicating through apps, messaging apps, and Zoom, right? There's no like office that we all come into, because they're all like, no one I don't think I have any agents that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They all live like spread out across the nation. So I'm always trying to find new, unique ways to like spice things up, get them engaged. And for me, sales is very much of a personal development space. Like it's all about being the best version of yourself because it helps you in every area of sales. And when I started to get really successful in sales was when I started focusing on my physical fitness because it increased my confidence and increased my discipline. It helped me to do other more challenging things in my business because if I can wake up at 4 a.m. and get a nice workout in and be consistent with it every single day, even when I'm sore, when I'm tired, when I don't want to, guess what happens? When I'm sore or tired or I don't want to make dials, I also do that. I'm creating good habits in my life. And so that's been very powerful for me in sales in order to be successful. And so I'm trying to impart these same exact traits and skills off to my agents. And so I was like, you know what? This is a good like little competition. So I just threw out a challenge and I was like, hey, let's see who can get to 3,000 first. Right. And if you get whoever beats me is going to get a big prize. And I was going to give them like $1,000. Right. Like if you beat me and get to 3,000 before me, I'll give you like $1,000. Right. And that was my motivation to do it because I threw it out there, and I don't want to give anybody $1,000 to be honest, not for free. I mean, it'd been great if somebody did beat me, but every day we were posting what number we're at, right? And anytime I saw someone who's even getting close to me, I'm like, nope. Tomorrow I'm doing like 50 extra or 100 extra. So I ended up doing it, and that's what kept me accountable was having a team or a group of people, and that's actually a really good challenge. Like get a couple of people that are willing to commit to a challenge like that, and everybody put in like $100. Like get like 5 people, everyone put in $100. Whoever gets to X amount by the end of the month, the person do it for a month. Whoever has the highest amount of push-ups at the end of the month wins the pot. Right? That would force you to stay on track with every single day, but also it would push your numbers every single day. So you would do more. Right. So saying like, I don't want to lose my $100 and I also want to get the 500. So doing a group like a 5 or 10 people, dude, that'd be great. So I started it and I ended up hitting, it was 3,000 in the month of November, 30 days, it's 100 a day. So I actually did like 150 a day. And I was like, well, I'm going to do it basically I'm going to do it in 20 days. But I started to increase my reps every week. And I started to increase my reps so much that I got to 3,000, like literally at the 15th. And I was like, hey, I'm already done. I hit my 3,000 today. And I was like, who, like, I'm done, friggin' mission accomplished. Who's next? And somebody chimed in. They were like, it's halfway through the month. You're not done yet. Like you still got 15 more days to see what you hit. And I was like, man, I hate you right now, but you're right.
Yeah.
And so at this point, by the 15th, I was doing over 300 a day. And I just kept, and I literally went for the rest of the month and I was like, I can at least get another 3,000. Well, let's see how much more I can get. And I ended the month at like 7,500 for the month. And by the end of the month, I was doing 350, 400 a day. And I was doing it every day. And I got to a point where I was just like, it was ingrained in me. And I just like, it was so weird to not do push-ups on the day that I was like, I want to see how far I can go. And I was like, I think it was at the end of the month of November and I was at like right around 400 a day. And I was like, I'm going to go to 1,000, do 1,000 friggin' push-ups a day. Right. So I just started every week increasing by 50, by 50, by 50, by 50. And I don't want to do push-ups all day. Like I want to knock them out as quick as possible. So what my goal was like, I'm going to do it in my first workout. So when I wake up, what my thing is I'm going to do 100 push-ups before I hit the gym. So when I wake up, I knock out 50 push-ups like as soon as I get out of bed, and then I knock out 50 push-ups before I leave the house. That's 100 push-ups knocked out. So at 400, I only got 300 left. Then I started doing them in sets of 30, and I was doing sets of 30 throughout my workout, and I only had to do 10 sets of 30. So what I would do is for the first 10 sets, first 10 exercises that I did 30 push-ups as soon as I got done with my exercise. So like literally I do an exercise, I do a set, 30 push-ups, rest for 20 to 30 seconds, do my next set, 30 push-ups, rest for 20 to 30 seconds. And it was like a constant superset. And I did that for the first 10 sets. And when I got to the 300, I was done. And what that did was it opened up for the rest of my workout. Because on an average workout, I'm doing about somewhere between 20 and 30 sets. Because I also used my warm-up as sets. So like I do warm-up rotations, and I have these sets of rotations I do for my shoulder because I have a bad shoulder. And then I was also doing sets of sit-ups. So when you include all of it together, it's like 30 sets at least that I'm going through. So I'm like, now I got room to grow. And so every week I would just increase by 50 and I would just add in extra sets. So I'm doing the push-ups and it's not really increasing my time in the gym. It is making the intensity a lot higher. But it made it to where I could go, my stamina and my speed in the gym is out of this world. Like I've never experienced it before in my life, but people that work out with me, I've had so many people in the past, I'd say, 2-3 months that have started to like see my content and they're like, oh, I want to come work out. And they'll come work out with me and I will smoke the shit out of them. And they'll be like, I've never worked out with someone that's that fast. Like, because I don't rest. Like now I'm like, I do my exercise, I do push-ups, I get up, I do my exercise. Like it's a constant go, 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 go. Keeps my heart rate super high, but helps me to burn fat better. And so I actually worked out with a guy that competed in bodybuilding, and he's been in fitness for like 26 years, and he's in really good shape. And so I was in Wisconsin over this past weekend, and we and him and I linked up, and we're part of a mastermind group called Arte Syndicate, and we both spoke on stage. And so he was like, I was like, dude, let's go get a workout. He's like, let's go for a run. I was like, no, bro, I want to take you for a lift, bro, because he's in good shape. I want to take you for a lift. So he's like, all right. So we go to this lift, and like we're walking up to the gym, and he's like opening the door. And he looks at me. He's like, I've never met anybody that can keep up with me, Greg. And I was just like, okay. And I just like didn't even pay attention. Just kept going in. And we get to the front desk to sign in. And he was like, did you hear what I said? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, when I was coming in the gym, I was like, oh yeah, that no one's ever been able to keep up with you. And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I heard you. Like, okay. I spoke the shit out of him. He got done. He was like, that was the most intense workout I've done in a long fight. He's like, I've been lifting for 26 years, Greg. I've never done that many push-ups in a workout or been that like fast and intense. He was like, I couldn't keep up with your weight and your speed. And so it really does change. And it's not that I'm special. It's not that I'm some physical specimen that only I can do this. It's just that I was very consistent with doing it day in and day out, day in and day out. And it built this stamina to where I can do it now. And I'm still pushing my stamina more and more. And so now I'm at about 1,500 push-ups a day. I knock out usually about 1,200 between my wake up and the end of my workout, and then 12 to 1,300. And then I just have 200 to 300 for the rest of the day that I'll knock out in sets of 50, like 4 to 6 sets of 50 randomly. Like when we get done here, I'll probably jump up, do 50 push-ups, get back to work. So.
Well, seeing that podcast, I was like, you know what? I've been a little bit of a bitch lately. I've been like taking it easy and, lying to myself into saying that, well, you need to back off just a little bit, balance, whatever. But I went to somewhere, I don't know where we went over the weekend. I was putting on a shirt, snug. It's like, what's happening? And you had also mentioned in that something about making an exception and it very quickly spiraling out of control. I was like, you know what? This is something that I know. I've seen this as a pattern in my own life before, where I've just let off the gas and then one thing after another just starts to come apart. And before you know it, you're 20 pounds heavier. And you're like, what the heck? What's happening? So I started doing it that day. And this is day 3. I've knocked out 100 push-ups a day so far. Yesterday I did 125. I was just feeling something. So yeah. I'm going to keep pushing it. But I texted, I was like, man, you inspired me. I did this. And you're like, oh man, I'm up to 1,500 a day now. It's like, okay, well, something to work towards.
It is, and anyone can do it. Like I'm trying to get to 3,000 a day. That's my new goal because I stayed at 1,000 for a long
3,000.
time. I stayed
Yeah.
at 1,000 for a really long time, but now my sets are higher. Like I can do a set of 100 and it doesn't bother me. Like towards like 90, I start to feel a burn in my chest, but I can still do it. It's it's the craziest feeling because like the first set I do in the morning is probably the hardest set, and I'd be honest, I don't want to do it. Like I'm like, fuck, I gotta push this again. Like, but then in this, that's when my chest is the tightest. But then about when I get to about 35, 40, it's like muscle memory kicks in. It's like, oh, okay, I know what's going on. And my chest just goes numb. Like it doesn't, I don't even feel it. And then from then on, every set afterwards, it just numb. It increases my heart rate and it makes me a little winded, not too winded, but a little like I can breathe a little heavier, but I don't feel in my chest anymore. And so the only time I feel in my chest really is when I go to like sets of 100. If I'm doing like 100 or more push-ups, I start to feel it around 85, 90, and it's like it starts to really burn, but I can still do it. And it's just, hey, when I get to 3,000 a day, I'll be doing sets of 100. I'll be doing 30 sets of 100, just knocking them out, and I just got to build that momentum slowly, but you can do it. You absolutely can.
That's awesome. Oh, you mentioned something also about the feeling like sales is directly related to physical fitness and your performance and self-development. Everything is about being the best version of yourself is going to push you. And that's what got me into this as well. I sell real estate. And so I was like, man, I want to be better. I want to improve myself. I'm listening to these motivational speakers that are saying, you're not going to have better until you become better. And so I started doing that, but the confidence boost from losing a bunch of weight, I was 300 pounds in August of 2021 and lost like 90 pounds last year.
Oh, wow.
And
That's impressive, bro.
dude, it was everybody that sees me that had been around was like, what the hell did you do? What, are you okay? Like I had family members telling me that I look like a doper. I was like, dude, I'm healthy. This is healthy. This is a different change for me. So it's good. But I feel like I definitely notice people listen to me more being healthy and fit than they did. Like you have more influence. People pay attention. They're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He gets shit done. Did you notice that?
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That confidence, how it bleeds out to other areas of your life. And it's almost like you have a higher vibrational pattern, like your vibrational energy that's being put out. People can subconsciously feel it and they're more attracted to you. Here's the ultimate thing about it is that your physical body, how you present yourself to the world, is your representation of your internal reputation. It's how you feel about yourself. It's what you think about yourself. It's the promises you do or do not keep to yourself. That's it. So if you show up somewhere, no offense, but and I'm not saying that people that are overweight can't be successful. I'm not saying that. There are plenty. But what I am saying is if they were fit, they'd be 10 times more successful.
Oh, for sure.
Period. They would be, because people would take them differently. People are more attracted to other people that are physically fit, that look good. Period. And they're going to want it. They're going to be naturally this draw to them because you are leading yourself in a more healthy way. You're leading yourself better. And when you can lead yourself, you can lead others. It starts with yourself though. But if you can't lead yourself, if you can't deny eating fucking a bag of Doritos at night because like that's your thing and you just can't deny it, and you got to also have like a 6-pack of Brewskis, dude, you can't even control those actions. What tells me that you're going to be able to manage my financial portfolio correctly and not skip corners or cut corners or skip steps or do whatever? And actually, because how you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
Yeah.
And it comes down to that. And so that's one piece of it. Not only that, but you just become you become a more positive person. You're happier. When I look at myself in the mirror naked and I look like I do, guess what? I'm more appreciative of the hard work that I put in, and I'm more positive going into the day. When I was fat, when I was 280 pounds, and I looked at myself, it depressed me, which put me at a lower energy state, which made it to where I wasn't as confident throughout the day, which made it to where it was harder for me to get stuff done, right? Everything else stressed me the hell out. But now I'm more positive. And when I'm more positive, positive people tend to have positive results. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And so it gives me more confidence when I speak to people. And as you have more positivity in your life, you start to do things in a more positive manner. You start to actually be a good person, right?
Right.
And it's the discipline. Dude, this isn't difficult. Eat less food, drink more water, move your body, and remove alcohol. It's simple. This is not rocket science, right? It's just regular basic anatomy. It's regular science. There's no one out there who's like, oh, I'm big bone. Like, you don't understand my genetics. Bullshit. There's a whole entire country. You can look at a whole entire third world countries that everybody's skinny. And you're telling me that it's because of all their genetics? No, it's just because you're lazy and you're eating too much food. You're eating processed food. You're eating the wrong foods. You're drinking. You're doing something. You're not getting enough protein. You're not counting your macros. I can go on, but every single person that's joined Delta Fit, across the board, I get them to lose anywhere between 5 to 10 pounds the first week. And they're like, holy shit, this works. Yeah, because your body's actually getting the nutrients it needs. As long as they follow my plan, they follow my macros, they follow the plan, they follow the foods, and they exercise, guess what happens? It's like, it's science. There's no art to it. Like, I can guarantee it. And so understanding that, it's like it's just monotonous. You just do it day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. But that's what success is all about in any area of life, in your business, in your fitness, in your relationships, right? In your mental stability, in your faith within yourself. Because when you do those monotonous actions, you gain momentum in that area of life. When you work out every single day and you eat healthy every single day, you start to lose weight. That weight loss builds momentum, and it builds this confidence. As the momentum increases over time, it starts to get exponentially greater. You start to have even better results. And you're like, holy crap, I never thought I could do this. I always thought I was big boned. I always thought I had bad genetics. No, it's just that you weren't doing the work for long enough to see the results, the fruits of your labor. And now that you've built all of this momentum, what happens? You get this faith. You get this newfound faith and like who you are. What's your purpose in life? What all can you accomplish? And now it's like the universe is opened up to you and all the possibilities of everything that you can do. And now you start to get in alignment physically, mentally, spiritually. Because not only you change your physical body, but your mental toughness is growing. Every single day that you do it, day in, day out, you're putting deposits into your discipline. You are growing your mental toughness. You are gaining confidence and is growing your mental side. And as you grow that mental side, you start to push harder into your physical. So your physical almost like leapfrogs because you're putting in more harder work because you get that belief, right? And as you do that, now you got this spiritual alignment where you start to have faith, right? I don't care what religion you are, but everyone has a spiritual side. I'm a Christian myself, right?
Me as well. Yeah.
And so you could be listening to this and you could be whatever your religion you are. Ultimately, you probably believe that you are made in the image of your creator. Does your creator make you to be a piece of fat shit? They did not.
No.
They made you to be the best fucking person you can be every single day. That's what they made you do. They made you to push the limits and to make a historical mark on this world. And you're not going to do it by watching Netflix and having your Cheeto crusted fingers licking them off every single night because you had to have your fiery hot Cheetos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, that's not going to do it. Like, they didn't create you to do that. They created you to be undeniably great, to make an impact in the world, to make an impact in other people. Right. And in order to make an impact, you're going to have to do some boring shit consistently, but that's going to be in your business. That's going to be in your relationships. That's going to be in your physical fitness and your mental side. Right. And when you do that over time, man, the momentum that builds in your life, the belief, the faith, and you start to really realize that, like, man, I really was made in the image of my creator. And I can bring blessings and greatness to this world just as I believe that he can, because I was made in his image.
Right.
And I have the power to do some wonderful things. Like, and then you start to open up, your reality opens up. It's like, man, what can I do? What can I accomplish? And it's unbelievable. Like, you start to really feel like you can do anything. Like, I can do anything. Nothing's going to stop me. My house could burn down today. I'm still going to get my workout in. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the work that needs to be done because my house burned down, but I'm still going to get my work done. You can't beat someone like that. You can't. It's just impossible. And so, that all this is to say is that all of these are traits and skills that were built through physical fitness. They are transferable to your business. They were transferable to my job when it came to setting appointments, making sure my calendar was filled, being persistent on the phones, getting people missed an appointment, getting them back on the schedule, et cetera, et cetera. But then when I sat down with them, guess what? I've got confidence. I'm super positive. I'm literally looking out to serve them because I want to serve them, because I have this newfound faith about service towards people, not about just me making money or making commission, but honestly putting them in the best situation and best possible foot forward, the best product, the best service, right? And they can tell that because I'm genuine, right? And my business started to skyrocket. And then people started to get attracted to me because they saw the difference. Just like people look at you. There's some people that are like, dude, you look sick. You look like you came out of Auschwitz, bro. And there's some other people that are like, dude, what are you doing? Like, give me that magic pill, right? Like, what supplement you taking, bro? What's up?
What are you doing? Well, like,
what are you doing?
I quit eating a bunch of junk and I work out. Like, that's the magic.
It's like,
do those things. It's not what people want to hear. They want the pill.
They want the pill. They do. And some people,
the overnight success.
Some people, when you realize, I helped a lot of agents that came to me. They're like, hey man, how'd you increase your sales? I was like, you want to know how I increased my sales? It's not that I did any special sales training or got any special sales script. I became a more exceptional human being. I became a more exceptional person that just happened to do sales. And that's what I did. And I did it through doing these things, through working out daily, through removing shitty food from my diet, eating on a diet, reading every single day, taking alcohol to my diet, drinking a gallon of water every single day, making sure I'm hydrated appropriately, getting enough sleep.
Was alcohol ever a big part of your life?
I used to drink it a lot, man.
So I did too. And I feel like some of my identity was tied into, wanting to be this, ooh, I like this,
life of the party.
This beer, this specific, the beer aficionado type.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels kind of goofy to me a little bit now, but I've had to reform some belief of identity for myself of, well, what do I do? Like, all of the social gatherings that I go to is everybody's getting drunk and I don't want to do that. And I don't, I can say no, I can put it down. The peer pressure doesn't bother me anymore. Yeah. I can walk away from that. But that is something that was a struggle for me because all of my friends and a lot of our gatherings, that was what we did. We'd get drunk. I live right by a river. I float pretty frequently. We go on kayaking a lot. And I really want to get into like just fitness kayaking, start something. I think I'm going to have to do that. But everybody wants to go, float trip, beer, hammered, get hammered. I don't know. It's not my jam.
Yeah.
I don't like feeling crappy. It doesn't make me feel good. It's not self-care.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, man. It when you get away from it, it's difficult when you first do the transition because your identity is tied to it. But when you get away from it and you look back, you're like, man, I was a fucking idiot.
Oh, like, yeah.
It's so many
stupid things and did so many stupid things that I would never do.
Yeah. And looking to actually go back, like I'm disgusted to even think about like going back and eating the foods and being obsessed with the foods I used to be obsessed with and drinking the amount of alcohol I drank. And like, it's just like, dude, it's poison for my body. And anytime I eat something that's even like remotely like Chipotle, I had Chipotle like maybe 3 weeks ago because I was on a traveling trip and I didn't have any other food. And I was like, well, Chipotle, I'm seeing some freaking chicken bowl, like double chicken, some rice and beans. That's it. Even that fucked my stomach up, bro. My stomach knows immediately when I eat food that's not like fresh or it's not like healthy because of whatever it's cooked in. Dude, telling you, makes a massive difference.
So another thing to touch on, your made in the likeness of your creator. I was thinking about something the other day about, you know, if he lives inside of us and we're putting stuff in, I have struggled with a number of things, food being a big one over the years, but like what I'm doing this to my body, but I have the power to not do that.
Yeah.
The creator lives inside of me. I can fight this. You know, it's not just me. I have power beyond what I can do on my own. Crazy. You touched on, you have a fitness, Delta Fitness. You also do Everything is Delta. But you do coaching, you have a fitness group. Is that online? How do you do that?
Yeah. So I do, I have a free Facebook group that's just Delta Fit. So if you look up Facebook and go Delta Fit there, if you want to find out more about my coaching, go to deltafitlife.com, deltafitlife.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. I do a shit ton of content there. I'm Gregory A. Birch _BIRCH. Can't miss me. And, you know, I basically help men or women. I've got some women clients, but I help you to overcome your demons, your vices, the things that are holding you back in life through physical fitness and really help you to get mental and spiritual alignment. And, yeah, everything that I brand is Delta because Delta is the symbol, the Greek symbol, which means to be the change or be the difference between two things. And I'm really big about being the difference in our own lives to other people. And that's my moniker, is like To Be the Difference, which is also the podcast, To Be the Difference podcast.
Yeah,
And
I would highly recommend people check that out too, because it is awesome. You're interviewing entrepreneurs. You're interviewing people that are doing what?
Anything in sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, basically just people that are trying to become their best selves and they've had struggles just like anyone else and how they overcame them. So,
yeah, I mean, that's very similar to what I'm doing. So I'm excited to have you on, man. I'm so grateful. What is a final thought that you'd leave my listeners with?
Change is inevitable. So if things are bad, they will get good. If they're good, they will turn bad. Just weather the storms and don't get stuck in those storms. Understand that change is coming. The night is always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah, boy.